exactly this script. The night sky erupts in a cascade of fire and thunder as North Korean artillery shells scream across the demilitarized zone, their explosions tearing through the darkness with brutal force. The ground shakes beneath the feet of American soldiers as concrete bunkers crumble and alarm systems wail into the chaos. This is not a drill. This is the moment when decades of tension ignite into deadly reality. If you've ever wondered what happens when one of the world's most advanced gunships responds to an attack on American forces, you're about to find out. Hit that subscribe button and drop a comment telling us which military aircraft you think is the most lethal in modern warfare. The attack begins without warning, a coordinated barrage designed to inflict maximum casualties and test American resolve. North Korean artillery pieces, some dating back to the Cold War era, but no less deadly, unleash a storm of high-explosive shells that rain down on the forward operating base with devastating precision. The M107 and M115 howitzers, positioned in hardened bunkers along the North Korean side of the DMZ, have been pre-sighted on this exact target for years, their crews trained relentlessly for this moment. Each shell carries enough explosive power to obliterate a building, and they're firing in salvos designed to overwhelm defensive systems. American forces scramble to their positions as the first shells impact, sending shrapnel and debris flying in every direction. The base's counter-battery radar systems immediately begin tracking the incoming fire, calculating trajectories and pinpointing the exact locations of the enemy artillery positions. Within seconds, the data is transmitted to command centers where critical decisions must be made under the most intense pressure imaginable. The soldiers on the ground take cover in reinforced shelters, knowing that their survival depends on both the structural integrity of their defenses and the speed of the response from above. The command comes through crystal clear despite the chaos: scramble the AC-130. At a nearby airfield, the massive gunship sits ready, its crew already racing through pre-flight checks with practiced efficiency. The AC-130 Ghost Rider represents the pinnacle of close air support capability, a flying fortress bristling with weapon systems that can turn the tide of any ground engagement. Its 4 turboprop engines roar to life as the crew completes their preparations in record time. The pilot receives coordinates for the North Korean artillery positions, and within minutes, the aircraft is thundering down the runway, climbing into the night sky on a mission of calculated retribution. As the AC-130 approaches the target area, its sophisticated sensor suite activates, painting a detailed picture of the battlefield below. The gunship carries an arsenal that would make any ground commander envious: a 105mm howitzer, a 40mm Bofors cannon, and a 25mm Gatling gun, all capable of delivering precision fire with devastating effect. The crew works in perfect coordination, the sensor operators identifying targets while the fire control officers calculate firing solutions. The pilot banks the aircraft into a standard left-hand orbit, a maneuver known as a pylon turn that allows the weapon systems mounted on the port side to maintain constant aim on the targets below. The first target is a battery of North Korean artillery pieces that continues to hammer the American base with shell after shell. Through the advanced targeting systems, the crew can see the enemy gunners working frantically to maintain their rate of fire, completely unaware that death approaches from above. The fire control officer makes final adjustments, accounting for wind speed, altitude, and the movement of the aircraft. The order is given, and the 105mm howitzer speaks with a thunderous voice that echoes across the mountains. The round arcs through the night sky and strikes the artillery position with pinpoint accuracy, the explosion consuming gun and crew in an instant of searing flame. But the AC-130 is just getting started. The 40mm cannon begins its work, firing precision rounds at a steady rhythm that sounds like a giant's heartbeat. Each shell finds its mark, destroying ammunition stockpiles and secondary artillery positions with methodical efficiency. The North Korean forces, realizing they are under attack from an unseen enemy, attempt to relocate their remaining guns, but the Ghost Rider's sensors track every movement. The infrared cameras can detect the heat signatures of vehicles and personnel even through the darkness and smoke, making concealment virtually impossible. The crew maintains their professionalism despite the intensity of the engagement, calling out targets and coordinating fire with the calm precision that comes from countless hours of training. The sensor operators identify command vehicles attempting to flee the area, and the 25mm Gatling gun engages them with a sustained burst that tears through armor and flesh with equal ease. The rate of fire is so rapid that it sounds like a continuous roar rather than individual shots. The tracer rounds arc down from the sky like angry red meteors, marking the path of destruction that follows wherever the AC-130's attention falls. Down on the ground at the American base, the artillery fire has ceased as the North Korean guns fall silent one by one. The soldiers emerge from their shelters to assess the damage and tend to the wounded. The sight that greets them is one of destruction, but also of survival. Buildings are damaged, equipment is destroyed, but the casualties are far fewer than they could have been thanks to the quick response and the protective measures that were in place. As they look up into the night sky, some of them can see the distant silhouette of the AC-130 circling above the DMZ, still hunting for targets. The psychological impact of the AC-130's intervention cannot be overstated. For the American forces under fire, the arrival of the Ghost Rider represents the full weight of American military power coming to their defense. For the North Korean forces who initiated the attack, it serves as a brutal reminder that aggression against American positions will be met with overwhelming and precise retaliation. The AC-130's ability to loiter over a battlefield for hours, continuously engaging targets with multiple weapon systems, makes it one of the most feared aircraft in the American arsenal. As the mission continues, the AC-130 crew maintains their vigilance, searching for any remaining threats. The advanced communication systems allow them to coordinate with ground forces, artillery units, and other aircraft in the area, creating a seamless integration of combat power. Intelligence gathered during the engagement is transmitted in real time to command centers where analysts work to understand the full scope of the North Korean attack and plan appropriate responses. The data collected by the AC-130's sensors will be studied for days, providing valuable insights into enemy capabilities and tactics. The engagement begins to wind down as the last confirmed targets are neutralized. The AC-130 makes several more orbits of the area, the crew scanning for any signs of movement or renewed hostile activity. The silence that now blankets the battlefield stands in stark contrast to the chaos of just an hour earlier. Smoke rises from the destroyed artillery positions, visible even in the darkness thanks to the Ghost Rider's thermal imaging systems. The mission has been a complete success, enemy capability neutralized with precision and overwhelming force. As dawn approaches, the AC-130 finally turns away from the DMZ and heads back to base, its ammunition expended and its mission complete. The crew remains alert during the return flight, knowing that complacency can be just as deadly as enemy fire. Back at the forward operating base, damage assessment teams are already at work, documenting the destruction and beginning the process of reconstruction. The attack will be analyzed thoroughly, lessons learned and procedures updated to enhance defensive capabilities for the future. This engagement represents a microcosm of modern warfare, where technology and training combine to create decisive advantages on the battlefield. The AC-130 Ghost Rider, with its sophisticated sensors and devastating firepower, proved once again why it remains an irreplaceable asset in the American military arsenal. The speed and precision of the response sent a clear message: attacks on American forces will not be tolerated, and will be met with swift and overwhelming retaliation. The night's events will be remembered as another chapter in the long history of deterrence and defense along one of the world's most dangerous borders. Settings. Use a clear male voice for the narrator, use appropriate media, make 7 seconds for each media in all video, and don't repeat the same videos. Use male clear, realistic voice, don't use iStock, use YouTube audio library only.